Kanan, Kanan?
Morning, ma'am.
Kanan, this cross 100 participants. Can we start or shall we wait further?
We can start, ma'am. We can go ahead.
More than 100, yeah, thank you. Really already 10:30.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Can I just go ahead with the introduction of the speaker?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Geeta, ma'am, ready?
1 second, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Saravanan sir.
Mallarkannan sir, சொல்லுங்க sir.
Sir, நான் ஆல்ரெடி ரெக்கார்டிங் போட்டுட்டேன். அது cloudல தான் போகும். So that நம்ம அதை யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம் சார் நம்ம.
ஓகே, நீங்க அப்புறமா ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கிறீங்களா?
ஆமா ஆமா.
ஓகே சார், thank you.
Thank you sir.
Okay, Geeta ma'am, ready to go?
1 second. இது ஸ்லைட் ஷேர் ஆகுதான்னு மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் செக் பண்ணுங்க.
இருங்க, அப்ப நான் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிக்கிறேன் ஸ்லைட் ஷேரை, நீங்க இது பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஓகே, நீங்க ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க ஷேரிங்க்கு.
சார் இதுல எனக்கு 3 ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் தான் இருக்கு. எக்ஸ்கியூஸ் மீ.
மேடம், உங்களுக்கு ஆல்ரெடி உங்களுக்கு இது கொடுத்தேன் பர்மிஷன் இந்த பேனலிஸ்ட் வரதுக்கு. அது திருப்பி நான் தரேன், நீங்க அதை எனேபிள் பண்ணிக்கோங்க மேடம்.
ஓகே.
இப்போ உங்களுக்கு பேனலிஸ்டா வரதுக்கு ஆப்ஷன் வரும்.
ஓகே ஓகே.
அது நீங்க இப்போ பேனலிஸ்டா போட்டுருங்க, இப்போ உங்களுக்கு வந்துடும்.
கண்ணன் சார் விஜயலட்சுமிக்கு போட்டுருங்க. டாக்டர் விஜயலட்சுமிக்கு பேனல், அப்பதான் அவங்களும் ஷேர் பண்ண முடியும்.
எனக்கு வருது மேம்.
ஓகே 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 சார். கண்ணன் சார்
பேனலிஸ்டா வந்தாலே அது எனேபிள் ஆயிடும் மேடம்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே
ஓகே மேம்.
ஓகே சார். நான் ஸ்டாப் ஷேர் கொடுத்துட்டுமா சார்?
கொடுத்துருங்க மேடம், ஒன்றும் ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை.
ஓகே.
நான் ஒரு இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன் மட்டும் கொடுத்துறேன், அப்புறம் நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடுங்க.
ஓகே.
Okay. So, good morning everyone and welcome to the third week of our GPAT webinar series. Today we'll have two speakers. One will be Dr. Geeta Saravanan and the other person will be Dr. A. Vijayalakshmi. So first session will be by Dr. Geeta Saravanan. So Dr. Geeta Saravanan has already presented a webinar for us in the previous PAA webinars. So this is the second time and we thank her for her contribution. She happens to be my junior, I happen to be her junior in Madurai Medical College. She completed her diploma and bachelor's degree in Madurai Medical College. And then she completed a master's degree in JSS College of Pharmacy UT as well as a PhD from JSS College of Pharmacy UT. She has over almost 20 years of experience in teaching. So she's been an experienced teacher and she served as a professor at her recent was as a professor of Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, Swami Vivekananda College of Pharmacy in Tiruchengood. So she'll be presenting today on the topic of spectroscopy, I believe. So ma'am, you can take this over. Geeta ma'am, all yours.
Good morning, one and all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're loud and clear.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank for the opportunity given and I hope many of you may be from having the mother tongue as Tamil, and some of you will have other mother tongue also. The first thing I want to tell you is the GPAT, any competitive test, you take it lightly. That is the first thing I want to tell you. Second thing is have confidence in you, and many things have been discussed regarding all these things. So this today's topic, I want to tell you whatever you have known already, whatever you know, that is only I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share my knowledge with you for another 30 to 35 minutes. So I have planned like stereochemistry basic concepts and why we need to study the stereochemistry in detail. So I hope this after my session, you would get this is for beginners in stereochemistry. So I have planned the question answer session in my next class, or else I have planned for a YouTube video also. So now going to the topic, stereochemistry and its basic concepts. We are having the chemistry vast, and when you tell any three-dimensional view, let me start with my Tirukural. The first thing is தெய்வத்தால் ஆகாது எனினும் முயற்சி தன்மை விருத்த கூடித்தனம். So how much you are, the meaning is even we are in a world of stress and talents and tactics. So how much ever we are stressed, we need to carry out our duty. So how much ever your efforts are there, you will be attaining the success. So when the God is also not helping you, your whatever continuous efforts you're putting towards your anything, your good work will make you success. So what is meant by success? Again, the success is continuous effort. So it goes like a circle. So coming to my views in the stereochemistry, it is the chemistry which deals with the spatial arrangement of atoms in a molecule. So for example, நம்ம வந்து இந்த ஒரு விஷயம் மட்டும் நான் தமிழ்ல சொல்றேன். நம்ம ஒரு ஹெலிகாப்டர்ல போயிட்டு மொட்டை மாடியில இருந்து நம்ம வீட்டை வியூ பண்ணோம்னா நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு 3 டைமென்ஷனலா அதோட கரெக்ட் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் கிடைக்கும். ஸோ அதே மாதிரி தான் இந்த கெமிஸ்ட்ரியில நம்ம வந்து இமேஜினரி ஸ்டடி, அதாவது நம்ம 3 டைமென்ஷனலா வியூ பண்றதுக்கு சயின்டிஸ்ட் எல்லாம் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. ஸோ நீங்க லாங் பேக் if you take with the long back history of the development of stereochemistry, உங்களுக்கு நிறைய அஸ்டானிஷிங் ஃபேக்ட்ஸ் கிடைக்கும். ஸோ நீங்க இந்த ஒரு விஷயத்த நம்ம ஆச்சரியப்படும் போது அது மேல நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு we will get a interest over that, and we will get a what to tell, affinity. Same way, the stereochemistry is a chemistry which gives which is more specifically for affinity. So நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு affinity இருக்கணும் அந்த படிக்கிறதுக்கு. So the first thing in this stereochemistry is it deals with the spatial arrangement of atoms in a molecule. So stereochemistry means, stereo means spatial arrangement, chemistry means, you know what is chemistry. So it deals with all the fundamental things about the spatial arrangement. So when we are viewing a molecule in a 3-dimensional way, okay, why we have to study the stereochemistry? So when you come across all your professional ways, or when you go to a pharmacy, I hope you are in final year. When you go to a pharmacy and you are asking for levocetirizine, so mostly we are nowadays it is raining and we are asking for levocetirizine. So what's meant by levo? Levocetirizine is a chiral isomer. So levo means it is rotating the plane polarized light towards left. So this way, dextromethorphan, dexamethasone. So when you take our pharmacy drugs, most of the drugs are chiral, and if I am not wrong, we would not have studied the stereochemistry in detail if we would not have known about the thalidomide tragedy. So thalidomide tragedy நடக்கலன்னா நம்ம stereochemistryக்கு இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்க மாட்டோம். ஸோ ஒரு 10 years நம்ம வந்து ஒரு சிஸ்டம் ஃபாலோ பண்ணியிருப்போம். not only 10 years, if as a researcher, as a pharmacologist, as a pharmaceutical chemist, as a pharmacist, when you come across the subject, I honestly believe that step by step we are learning. No? Whenever we are learning directly, we are going towards we are going towards whatever others are doing. So if you take the scientific discoveries, if you take any classes, if you take any particular theories, we will not think. We will not think. No, I'm not blaming myself or others. I'm telling like the stereochemistry is one which it has to be studied in detail, the basic one. We have to go through each and every topic. We have to study the basic concepts, not only for stereochemistry, with GPAT syllabus also. Whenever you are studying, don't go directly to the question bank or questionnaire session. First, you learn the basic concept. So with this idea, I have prepared my slides in two ways. Like I'll be like whatever we are going to discuss, that discussion will be in the basic concepts. So let me have a clarity in my introduction. It's a chemistry which deals with the spatial arrangement of atoms in a molecule. So why we have to study this stereochemistry? So this is what most of the drugs in the today's market are either as a racemic mixture or as a single form. So why it is as a racemic mixture? In order to prevent the adverse effects or side effect. Why it is in a single form? In order to improve the biological activity. So connectivities, what are the connectivities of the functional groups ligands? And where it's going to act, that particular receptor. So stereochemistry means the physical and chemical and biological property of most of the molecules are strongly depending upon the three-dimensional view. So as discussed earlier, the thalidomide tragedy, which is the thalidomide which is prescribed for morning sickness, has converted into a S isomer and it produces a teratogenic effect. So that causes a serious initiative towards the pharmacovigilance and the various restriction over the drug discovery. So thalidomide tragedy nadakalam, stereochemistry will not be that easy. So now, next slide. What are the types of isomerism? So in case isomerism is generally divided into constitutional and stereoisomers. Constitutional isomers, these are divided into chain, position, functional groups, metamerism, and tautomerism. So chain isomerism, as it indicates, this is N-butane. This is isobutane. So we are disconnecting one methyl group and we are giving this connectivity here. So chain isomerism, it differs by the way it is connected. Positional isomerism, again, this depends on where the functional group is present. Where the functional group is present, if it is present in the first position or second position. Functional group isomerism, again, this is an carboxylic acid group and here it is a ester group. So the functional group isomerism depends on whether it is a functional, whether the isomer differs by the way. It is an acid here and it is an ester here. Metamerism, the aliphatic chain is connected through a functional group ether linkage. So the ether linkage, oxygen, acts by the two ways. One is the diethyl ether and another one is the methoxyprofane. Then tautomerism, again, it is, we have studied about ketoenol tautomerism. That is the carbonyl group, either it exists in the ketonic form or in the enolic form. So this is regarding the tautomerism. So the constitutional isomerism, it differs by the pattern of bonding arrangements. Coming to the stereoisomers, they differ in the orientation, conformational isomers, configurational isomers, you have geometrical isomers, enantiomers, and diastereo isomers. So conformational isomers means they exhibit by the principle of free rotation about a single bond. So the principle of free rotation about a single bond in molecules, if you take most of the organic molecules, most of the organic molecules are bonded by carbon and hydrogen. So when they rotate, they form, without bond breaking, they form various structures. So they are called as rotamers. So the rotamers means one fixed point we are taking and we are considering the whole molecule is revolving. So this we will be discussing in 3 ways. One is the conformational isomers, and the configurational isomers, we have optical isomers and geometrical isomerism. So I'll repeat this one. What is the basic we are going to study today is the stereoisomers. We are going to study in 2 ways. One is the conformational way and the configurational way. The configurational way means here we are going to break the bond and get converted into another one. Conformational means it is going to be rotation or single bond rotation, twisting and forming other structures. So it is by rotation, and this is by this is by different arrangement by breaking. So we are going to study in detail about this, which are enantiomers, diastereoisomers, what is meant by configuration, what is meant by stability, and what are the strains in the stereoisomers. So this is what stereoisomerism. It is broadly divided into geometrical isomerism and optical isomerism. So it is broadly divided into geometrical isomerism and optical isomerism. So the geometrical isomerism or the cis-trans isomerism, it is the phenomenon of restricted rotation about a double bond or a cyclic system or a heteroatom. So whenever we are telling about the phenomenon of restricted rotation about a double bond, why there occurs a restricted rotation? So the restricted rotation occurs because there is a pi bond. So the pi bond is nothing but an electronic cloud above and below the sigma bond. So why there occurs a restricted rotation? Once again. So in case of this pi bond, it is the sp2 hybridized orbital present. So the unhybridized orbital which is present will be overlapping. So whenever we are coming across a double bond, we have to think about the unhybridized orbital which is formed by the lateral overlapping. So when the geometrical isomerism arises because of the lateral overlapping which inhibits the free rotation. So why there is a restricted rotation in a double bond means the sideways overlapping of electronic cloud is not stable. So it will move around to the sigma bond. That's why there is a restricted rotation. So this is called as the modern theory of double bond. So for a geometrical isomerism to exhibit, what are all the criteria? The geometrical isomerism will be exhibiting when the atoms are in the same plane, so that there will be the maximum overlapping of the unhybridized pz orbitals. So this way, we have geometrical isomerism, double bonded system like cis-butanes, trans-butanes, and then cyclopropanes, where the restricted rotation due to the double bond or else with a cyclic system. Coming to the optical isomerism, we know that this is a tool, this is an instrument which allows us to find out whether the molecule is optically active. So when you keep a molecule in the path of the plane polarized light, the molecule will rotate the plane polarized light towards left or right. So why it rotates? Indirectly, this is a physical tool or the light property which gives about the configuration of the molecule. So once, for example, we are keeping a molecule like dextrose. So dextrose is D-glucose. So the D-glucose, the molecule, the D is, the dextrose, the molecule rotates the plane polarized in a clockwise direction and you will get plus 57. So the angular rotation or the specific rotation indicates that the molecule is a chiral one. So like similarly, if you keep a levolose, you will get the levorotatory. The rotation will be in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay. Optical isomerism, optical activity, and dextrorotatory, levorotatory. Why we are studying the config? When you are able to find out with the physical property of light, indirectly you are designating the structure of the particular molecule. So when you are getting a dextrorotatory, that indicates the functional group or the important group are on the right side. So when you are going for dextrose and levolose, we are configuring the we are arranging the atoms or group of atoms based on the obtained specific rotation. So this is a tool which is helping us to find out whether the molecule is chiral or achiral. So when you are studying your stereochemistry, most of us we will be using the term called as molecular handedness or chirality. So the chirality is nothing but it denotes 99% of the available isomers are having an asymmetric carbon atom. So the asymmetric carbon atom is otherwise called as stereogenic center. So the asymmetric carbon atom, most of the optically active isomers will contain the asymmetric carbon atom. So most of the asymmetric containing group of atoms, if it is 1, we can say that it will be exhibiting 2 pairs of isomers. So 2 power n. So when you have 1 chiral center, you will get 2 power 1, 2 into 1. So it will be 2. So you will get 2 isomers. So the formula for finding out the number of optical isomers is 2 power n, and n denotes the number of chiral centers present in the molecule. So these are some of the examples where the stereoisomers plays a role. So the stereoisomer, we have seen, I have long back told about thalidomide, because in our starting class, whenever we want to study about the stereochemistry, we will be studying how the simple conversion of a particular center, stereogenic center, affects the whole biological effect. So likewise, we are having ibuprofen. When it is R form, rectus form, and it is levorotatory, it is inactive, and if it is sinister form, then it becomes it is used as an analgesic. Similarly, other drugs, levofloxacin, naproxen, etc. And coming to the stereogenic center, so this is the stereogenic center. The center, it is called as CABDE. So the carbon atom is bounded with ABDE. So when the carbon atom is bonded with 4 different atoms or groups of atoms in a different electronic environment, that particular carbon atom is called as asymmetric carbon atom. So for a molecule to exhibit optical activity, it should have a carbon atom which contains 4 different groups or atoms which differ in their chemical or electronic environment. So we have some of the examples like glyceraldehyde, alanine, lactic acid. It is the one of the basic molecule which denotes clearly that there are 4 different groups. One is hydrogen, one is methyl, one is hydroxyl, and other one is carboxylic acid group. So we have seen about the optical isomerism. What are all the things needed as the optical isomerism? It should be, if a molecule has to be optically active, it should not possess any superimposable mirror image, that is non-superimposable mirror image. Then second one is it should possess a chiral center, that is the chiral center means it is it is otherwise called as a stereogenic center. Then it should have it should be capable of rotating the plane polarized light, and there should not be any elements of symmetry. So these are the 4 things which comes as a basic in the optical activity of a molecule. So we have seen what is meant by asymmetric center. So the previous slide explains you that it is a molecule of type CABDE. C means carbon, ABDE, small ABDE indicates that the groups are different. So whenever we are finding about the CABDE, we have to think about the Van House theory and Liebel's theory. These scientists have told us that the carbon atom, when it is bonded with 4 different groups, they are in a tetrahedral fashion. So long back, before the discovery of any spectral studies, by using the geometrical arrangement, they have found out that in 1869, like the carbon atom is, when it is bonded by 4 and in the spatial arrangement, the molecule is in a tetrahedral fashion. So the Liebel's theory and Van House theory forms the basics of the stereochemistry. So coming to the elements of symmetry, there are 4 types of elements of symmetry. One is simple axis of symmetry, plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry. What's meant by simple axis of symmetry? When a molecule, if it rotates from 0 degree to 360 degree, it should not mimic or it should not have the identity of the molecule. For example, it should not have a similar structure. So 0 and the 360 degree varaikum rotate agumbodhu, same configuration should not be repeated. That means during its one complete rotation, whatever arrangement we are getting, it should be different. So when we take simple molecules, N indicates the number of folds. So water will have 2 folds, ammonia will have 3 folds. So chloroform will have 3 folds. When it rotates, it will have the same identity as the original molecule. So this is called a simple axis of symmetry. Simple axis of symmetry is during one complete rotation from 0 degree to 360 degree, the molecule should not have an identical arrangement as that of the original molecule. This is called a simple axis of symmetry. Then what is meant by plane of symmetry? So it is an imaginary plane which can, when you cut a molecule imaginarily by horizontally or vertically, you will get a object and mirror image in the same molecule. So when you cut a molecule, you will have, it is an imaginary plane. It is an imaginary vertical plane seen here, where when you cut, you can see the hydrogens are remaining. That means the molecule has internal compensation. So this is when you cut vertically, both the sides, you can see the hydrogens. So that means they are superimposable mirror image is formed within the molecule. So this is called as plane of symmetry. Then what is meant by center of symmetry? It is a center which connects the similar atoms. So for example, you are connecting this is a cyclobutane, where you have, this is instead of CH4, you have A and B substituent. So if you connect here, through a center, it is an imaginary center which connects equally with the symmetrical atoms. So if you have a CH3, it will connect. Here it is 5 centimeter, here also it is 5 centimeter. If it is an NH, here it is 2 centimeter, here also. So equally distance through a center, if the same groups are connected, then that is called as center of symmetry. So it is an imaginary center which connects the same groups at equal distance. Then alternating axis of symmetry. Alternating axis of symmetry differs from simple axis of symmetry. Here, during one complete rotation, you are having a through a perpendicular plane, you are rotating. If you are getting a mirror image, the mirror image, if it depicts the original molecule, then that is called as alternating axis of symmetry. So far we have seen about elements of symmetry. In elements of symmetry, we have plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, alternating axis of symmetry, and simple axis of symmetry. So for a molecule to be exhibiting optical activity, there should not be any elements of symmetry. So these are the 4 elements of symmetry. Then coming to the enantiomers and the diastereoisomers. The enantiomers and the diastereoisomers. So enantio means opposite. So the way they rotate the plane polarized light differs. So dextro and levo glucose. Dextro and levo form of the isomers are called as enantiomers. They have identical physical properties except in the way of rotating the plane polarized light. So these are the few examples like erythros and trios. So when you take the arrangement, diastereoisomers are not non-superimposable mirror image, or they are not opposite in the way of rotating the plane polarized light. Dia means different in the way of rotating the plane polarized light. These are called as diastereoisomers. So some of the examples of enantiomers are seen here. So the way they rotate the plane polarized light differs. Here it is clockwise, here it is anti-clockwise. So these are the few examples like glucose and lactic acid. This again, enantiomers and diastereomers. This enantiomer, one enantiomeric form, but we have seen the few examples like levocitrizin and dexamethasone are having the difference in the way of rotating, and their biological activity varies. So whenever we are seeing the importance, the functional groups, that the receptor and binding varies in a very small arrangement, in a very small affinity towards a functional group. So that means if you imagine that the receptor site, if it has a provision for a hydroxyl group and that hydroxyl group is projecting upwards, there will be less binding at the binding site. So the activity will be diminished, or it will produce another activity. So these are the few examples which we have discussed in the previous slides. So enantiomers means opposite in the way of rotating. The structures which rotate the plane polarized light in the opposite way of rotation are called as enantioisomers. Enantiostereoisomers and diastereomers means the way they rotate the plane polarized light in different amounts. These examples clearly indicates that 1 and 3 are diastereoisomers and 2 and 4 are diastereoisomers. That's 1 and 2 are the pair of stereo enantiomers. So coming to the next slide. What is meant by a meso compound? This meso compound example is, here the example is tartaric acid. It is an imaginary plane where you can see the object and the mirror image are superimposable. So this is meso-tartaric acid. So here the meso compounds arises when there are more than one chiral center. If you have one chiral center like lactic acid, definitely it will be optically active. But when you have 2 chiral centers, when you rotate, you will get one particular form where there is an imaginary plane which divides, and we can see that the object and the mirror images are superimposable. So we can see that this is a meso compound. So meso compounds are optically inactive compounds, and they act by the internal compensation cancel each other. So that optical inactivity. So you can see that this part and this part are superimposable. Coming to the absolute configuration and relative configuration. So first I will cover this relative configuration. The relative configuration is when you take a molecule like glyceraldehyde, this is a small molecule where you can see the hydroxyl group on the left side and hydroxyl group on the right side. So we are going to compare the molecules with D and L. D means the functional group is present on the right side. L means the functional group is present on the left side. So the capital D and the capital L indicates that the configuration or the spatial arrangement of other molecule can be compared with the penultimate carbon. So we are considering this as the top. So we are seeing like this as a bumper edutittu. So we are seeing like one group is at the top, another one is at the bottom, and the hydroxyl group on the left or right indicates that if you have any molecule, we have to consider the penultimate carbon, which is the carbon next to the functional group and last carbon. So the penultimate carbon, we will be telling that it is D series or L series based on this D glyceraldehyde and L glyceraldehyde. So the relative configuration is a method of finding out the spatial arrangement by interpreting the way the parent compound is. So the parent compound here is D-glyceraldehyde and the parent compound is L-glyceraldehyde. So if you see any carbon, any glucose where above the primary alcoholic group, the hydroxyl is on the right side, then you will call it as D series. If it is on the left side, it is L series. So when they come across that, there are certain groups which differs by this terminologies or by this arrangement. They found out that this relative configuration of methodology where the DL in L indicating the spatial arrangement differs, then comes the CIP rule. So coming to the CIP rule, we have like the atoms are arranged according to the atomic number, and you can see that if the priority groups goes by a clockwise, then it is called as R configuration, and if it is goes by an anti-clockwise, then it is called as S configuration. So in the Fisher's projection, taking this example, if you see this carbon, there are two chiral atoms. If you see this carbon, where you can see acid, amine group, and hydrogen, and this alcoholic group, you can see that the priority set goes like this. The priority goes by the atomic number and nitrogen. So the hydrogen we are considering if it is present in the horizontal way. If the rotation is in the clockwise, then it is called as S form. So hydrogen Fisher in the Fisher projection, if you take two chiral centers, if the hydrogen is present on the horizontal plane, then the atoms or the group of atoms according to the priority, if it is rotated on the in the clockwise direction, it is called as capital S, that is sinister. If the hydrogen, if it goes by the other way, anti-clockwise, then it is called as R form. So the Fisher's while we are drawing the Fisher's projection, we have to view the hydrogen that is away from the plane, and we have to consider the other functional groups. So the lower priority group is the lowest atomic number group. So hydrogen will be, if there is a hydrogen, it will be given the lowest priority, and we will be considering. So when we are seeing that the priority goes by clockwise, then it is S, and if it goes by anti-clockwise, then it is R. So this is based on where the hydrogen is present in the Fisher's projection. So while we are drawing the Fisher projection and coming and interpreting this rule, we have to be very much confident that the hydrogen where it is present, whether it is present in the vertical line or it is present in the horizontal line. So this is the first thing we have to have. So the next part, so far we have seen about some of the basic concepts of enantiomers, diastereoisomers, and what are the rules governing how to determine what are the ways. Their ways are relative configuration and absolute configuration. One second. So next important thing is the conformational analysis. The beautiful part of conformational analysis is Bayes strain theory determines, when Bayes strain theory was introduced, the bond angle plays a role in the determination of stability of alicyclic compounds. We thought that if there is a deviation from the normal tetrahedral angle, then that angular deviation will give the stability. Then when it comes for cyclopropane, cyclobutane, it obeys. So when it goes with higher molecular ranges like cyclohexane, then comes the Sachs-Moore theory. So how to interpret this? So when there are more number of atoms in a molecule, the atoms will be rotating, and during the continuous rotation, it will attain various puckered forms. So the bending and twisting of bonds will give various shapes. These shapes are called as conformers or rotamers. So when you take the examples like cyclohexane, we can see that the cyclohexane will have more number of conformations. The more number of conformations, it will be like, it will not be present in the planar cyclohexane form. So Bayer thought that it will be like, this is a rectangle, this is a triangle. So cyclohexane will be like a hexagon. But when it goes for more number of atoms in an alicyclic compound, he could interpret that all the atoms are rotating on its own, and we will get more number of shapes. These shapes are called as rotamers or conformers. So when these rotamers are interpreted, which is the particular shape which is stable based on the energy, this is the analysis which determines the physical and chemical property based on the arrangement of atoms in a three-dimensional way or during the rotation. So the Sachs-Moore theory explains about the puckering of the ring, and we get various formations, various forms of cyclohexane, like boat form, twist boat form, chair form, etc. And the stability is mentioned by the boat form and chair form. So this is what the conformational analysis of ethane, N-butane, and cyclohexane. So we have to study this in detail. So what are the things we have to consider for the stability? The first one, why we are telling that this particular chair form is why we are going to tell that this particular chair form is more stable. So before that, I want to tell you one basic thing. See the way of writing the Newman projection formula. So the Newman projection formula, there are one dot and one circle. So the dot indicates the carbon and circle indicates one carbon. So their connectivity are given by this three in this first carbon, and in the circle you have three connectivities. These are three connectivities which is connected, and this dot and circle are interconnected. So the Newman projection formula is a two-way planar projection formula which explains about the configuration or the spatial arrangement of n number of molecules. So this is the conformational analysis of N-butane, where you can see that there are what are the various forms available. So when there occurs a difference in the connectivity, we will get more number of conformers. So when you see ethane, you will get two conformers. What are the two conformers? One is the staggered, other one is eclipse. So that we have to consider that this conformers, they oscillate. There are mutual oscillations seen in case of ethane. What is meant by a mutual oscillation? It oscillates between the eclipsed conformation and the staggered conformation. So it goes like staggered, eclipsed, and staggered, eclipsed. So what is meant by staggered? It is the atoms are separated far apart. That is, the distance or the electronic cloud will not interact. So they are separated. So this is staggered conformation. So when you see most of the forms, most of the conformational isomers, when it is present in the staggered, where the atoms are separated far apart, this particular form will be more stable when we compare the atoms when they come closer. So staggered is one, eclipse means the atoms are grouped or closer. So this is, you can see the dihedral angle is less. Here the dihedral angle is more. So the dihedral angle is the angle which is between two carbon atoms connectivity. So the hydrogen atom is connected to the first carbon and the hydrogen atom is connected to the second carbon. The angle between these two hydrogen atoms is called as the dihedral angle. So the dihedral angle determines the stability of a conformer. So coming to the conformational analysis, the conformational analysis is one. During 0 to 360 degree, what are all the possible conformers? As earlier discussed, it is not breaking. It is simply the principle of free rotation about a single bond. The sigma bond, while it rotating, it attains various puckered structures, and these structures are easily these structures are flipping. That is, they will get converted into one form into another. For example, in case of N-butane, we have 4 forms. One is the fully eclipsed form, other one is the anti-form, another one is half eclipsed form, other one is scattered form or anti-form. So we have 4 forms. Gauge form, we will have two variations here. Here the methyl group will vary. Here this is half eclipsed and this one is fully eclipsed form. So in case of N-butane, we can see that when the atoms comes closer, when bulkier groups comes closer, they becomes more crowdy here. So this requires more energy. So the conformational analysis explains that in a molecule, what is the preferred conformer and how the atoms or groups of atoms are arranged in a molecule like N-butane. So the beautiful example is cyclohexane, where we can see that the chair conformation is the most stable conformer. Why the chair conformer is the most stable one? So it depends on 4 strains. What are the 4 strains? The 4 strains are angular strain, torsional strain, steric strain, and van der Waals strain. So the chair conformation, in the chair conformation, the molecule is free of 4 strains. One is the angular strain, torsional strain, steric strain, and van der Waals strain. So when we can see this, that there are in the both conformation, it requires energy. Why this is less stable means the flagpole hydrogen and the twist boat hydrogen, you can see that there is an eclipsing strain or the torsional strain. And in case, when you take the conformational analysis, we have to remember the 4 strain. One is the angular strain, second one is the torsional strain, third one is the steric strain, and fourth one is the van der Waals strain. Van der Waals strain is nothing but it exhibits between the non-polar like hydrogen atoms. When they come closer, the distance between the electronic cloud of one hydrogen atoms meets and get attracted towards the another atom nucleus, that develop the van der Waals strain due to the distance between 2 hydrogen atoms. So we can see that one axial hydrogen, other one is equatorial hydrogen, axial hydrogen, equatorial hydrogen, axial hydrogen, and equatorial. So when you take a cyclohexane, there are 6 axial and 6 equatorial. So there occurs ring flipping. So one chair get converted into another. This is called as ring flipping, where the axial hydrogen gets converted into an equatorial hydrogen. So this occurs at room temperature. So the rotamers differ by energy levels low, and they get converted into one another form easily. So the conformational analysis gives a clear idea about how the molecules are arranged in the space. So likewise, when you take the molecules like substituted cyclohexane, the arrangement of the groups present in the substituted cycloalkenes determines the stability. Then the next part is the atropisomerism, where this is the beautiful part of the stereochemistry, where there is no asymmetric carbon atom, but there exhibits optical activity due to the restricted rotation. The ring, this is a horizontal ring, this is a biphenite, where there is a restricted rotation. It should not, this is arranged in one plane. For example, you are considering this as a horizontal benzene. This is another benzenoid nucleus which is connected vertically. So if you draw here, there is no plane of symmetry, and the groups, the bulkier groups present in the substituent at 6' position will maintain this, and these are called as optically active isomers, which are otherwise called as atropre isomers, which are separable compounds, and 6,6 substituted biphenyls and other compounds will be they will be exhibiting optical activity due to restricted rotation. So I want to recollect all these things, and thank you for the time given and best wishes of preparation. And before concluding, I want to say all the basics once again for 5 minutes. So when we are starting our syllabus, you have like stereochemistry. In that you have what is meant by configuration and conformation. So conformational analysis is one which determines the strength, and configurational analysis is configuration and conformation. We have to be clear, and then you have the geometrical and you have the optical rotation, and we have seen about the strains and the RS rules. And I have prepared some of the problem based, and I will be presenting in my next class regarding the problem-based session, which determines how to tell that what are the how many number of isomers are possible and what is meant by chiral and achiral in detail, which with problem-based questions. Thank you. And one more thing I want to tell you, if time permits, 5 minutes I'll take. So time, sir, excuse me, sir. Shall I take another 5 minutes?
Go ahead, ma'am, please.
Okay. This is not related with the subject. This is related with my GPAT GATE experience. What happened is, when I was going for the GATE examination preparation, as you are all doing, I'm also doing it very sincerely, and I'm still having my GATE note preparation and all. We used to read from the textbooks like Wilson and Gisball, Morrison and Boyd. So I'm doing that sincerely. Then due to some other personal reasons, I couldn't prepare it continuously. So what happened is, when I am going for the GATE examination, I could find 2 incidents happen in my life, and I want to share with you whether this presentation you can see in YouTube and all, but this experience I want to share with you honestly. One is that first thing is, I was thinking the time is not sufficient. So September, October, November, how I will prepare? That time it was in February. So what happened is, my family members were asking, you want to write one examination, what is the date? Then I told this is February 1st and second Sunday it was there, and I could not get it. Then my better half supported, like 8 days you work, whatever best you can give, you give. Then I started preparing simply, and I was blessed with my friends as you, and they told me last hour also you prepare whatever possible. Then I was preparing sincerely. While I'm going for the examination, the miracle happened. What happened is, my senior, she is Vani, and she was working with me that time, and she was telling me like, you will get definitely. You will not believe that one sentence I got the GATE score. I was a mother and I was feeding a small baby. I don't know how to face the examination, everything. But she told you, when you face the examination, definitely you will succeed. So always believe yourself so that you will succeed. And I believed, and I could, I can recollect my memory like anything. That 3 hours, even if ground is blasting also, I don't know. Whatever thing is happening around me, I don't know. So I wish all the participants to be focused and little bit clarity. So have friends who are more believing in you, and also you believe yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, so much. Meenakshi here. Thank you very much, ma'am. Very clear lecture, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank you, madam.
ma'am, we don't have any questions as of now. So the questions, Alvina, we can just redirect them to you. Is that okay? So can I go to the next session, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can go.
Okay, Vijayalakshmi, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Just to give you a brief about Dr. Vijayalakshmi, she has over 15 years of teaching experience. She completed a bachelor's degree in Madurai Medical College, followed by her master's in Wales College of Pharmacy. And she completed a PhD in 2014 from the MGR Medical University. She is currently working as an assistant professor in Wales University. Today, she'll be speaking about the topic alkaloids on the subject pharmacognosy. Ma'am, it's all over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You can share your slides.
Okay, good morning to one and all. I am Dr. Vijayalakshmi. Today I am going to take about alkaloids, just an overview about the basic chemistry of alkaloids and the drugs which contains alkaloids with its therapeutic uses. Even though in GPAT exam out of 125, they have given the weightage for pharmacognosy is only 10 questions. But even though weightage is very less, but you can score all this marks, but this 40 marks out of these 10 questions. So only thing is you have to understand and you have to remember all the botanical name, pharmacological uses, etc. So just I will go for the basic concept about alkaloid. So a lot of drugs which is available in the market is basically they are all alkaloids, derived from alkaloids. And the word alkaloid is derived from the there is alkali. Alkali means the basic compound. Why it is basic means it contains the heteroatom nitrogen. So any heteroatom like the nitrogen, oxygen is present, it is known as heterocyclic compound. So this alkaloid is a basic heterocyclic nitrogen containing organic compounds, and biosynthetically it is derived from amino acid. As it contains nitrogen, we can easily remember that amino acid also contains this amino nitrogen. So alkaloid is the basic heterocyclic nitrogenous organic compound, optically active with marked physiological functions. So there is some deviation from this definition. So this definition will pertain to the true alkaloid. So alkaloids can be classified into three classes. One is true alkaloid, proto-alkaloid, and pseudo-alkaloid. So true alkaloid will be having the heterocyclic ring. Nitrogen will be present within the ring, and it is derived from amino acid. And there is some deviation from this definition. That is, some of the alkaloids like colchicine, piperine, they are not basic in nature. And as I said, the nitrogen will be present within the ring, but in some alkaloids, the nitrogen will be present in the side chain. Example is ephedrine, colchicine, mescaline. And some alkaloids are not derived from amino acid, example caffeine. So those were known as pseudo-alkaloids. And if you see some of the physical property, alkaloids are generally colorless, crystalline, solid. Here also some exception is there. Example, berberine, it is yellow in colored. And mostly all the solid, but some exception is there in case of nicotine and choline, both will be existing in liquid state. And alkaloids are, actually alkaloids will exist in plants in two states. One as free alkaloids, another one is as alkaloidal salt. So solubility will be different. So that's why we will be following certain rules for extraction of alkaloids. And alkaloids are bitter in taste. Because of this property, it will serve as a protective role for that particular plant from the grazing animals, which is cattle. And most of the alkaloids are optically active. And as I said, alkaloids are basic in nature. So it will exist as a salt by combining with some of the plant organic acid. So it will exist as either free alkaloid or as a salt by combining with the organic acid like acetic acid, oxalic acid, etc. So, and many questions, I have verified some of the GPAT questions. So most of some questions will be based on this reagent which is used for detecting the alkaloids. So alkaloids, as I said, it is basic in nature, but when in acidic pH, it will become insoluble and it causes a precipitation reaction. So these are the four important reagents. It is also known as alkaloidal reagents, which produces a colored and also a precipitation. So Mayer's reagent, Wagner reagent, Dragendorf's reagent, Hager's reagent. The name of the reagent, but chemical name you should know. So many questions was based upon the chemical name of this reagent. Mayer's reagent chemical, it is potassium mercuric iodide solution. Wagner's iodine in potassium iodide. and Dragendorf reagent, potassium bismuth iodide, and Hager's is a saturated solution of picric acid. So it produces the different colors. And I will, at the end of the session, that is half of the session, I will discuss about the questions which is asked in the GPAT. So some questions will be from this topic, that is a reagent. So just remember chemically what is the name of this Mayer's reagent. They will be giving 4 options, so you should know the correct answer. Potassium mercuric iodide solution. So I have found one questions on this extraction of alkaloids. So as I said, the alkaloids exist in 2 states, one as a free alkaloid or as a alkaloidal salt. So anyhow, first step we have to if any alkaloid salt is there, it has to be freed as a free alkaloid. So when you're treating with a base, that alkaloid will become a free base. So first step in extraction of alkaloid, we have to moisten with any of the aqueous solution of the alkali like sodium carbonate and bicarbonate, just to liberate the free bases from the crude drug. The second step, as I said, the solubility is different. So free alkaloid was soluble in organic solvent, whereas the alkaloid salt is soluble in aqueous. So as we have converted all the alkaloid into a free alkaloid. Now it is soluble in organic solvent. So the next step in the extraction is extracting with organic solvent like chloroform, methylene chloride, etc. Now all the alkaloids will comes into this solvent. Now we have to again to separate from the other soluble compounds, we have to treat with 2% in aqueous acid. So when treating with aqueous acid, it will again with acid it form a salt. So all the free alkaloid will be converted into alkaloidal salt when treating with any aqueous acid. So mostly we'll be using 2% aqueous hydrochloric acid. Why means to convert all the free alkaloid into alkaloidal salt. Now the alkaloid salt, now we can able to separate from this. So we have to make alkaline again to liberate it as a free alkaloidal base again. Now it is this free alkaloid base will be soluble in organic solvent like chloroform. So again, this solubility with the organic solvent will be doing in 2 steps. So initially from the crude drug, we are converting all into free alkaloid and dissolving in the organic solvent. Again, in the last step also, again we'll be treating with this same by converting all the alkaloidal salt into free alkaloid, and then you're extracting with the organic solvent like chloroform. So now it may contains most of the alkaloids will be in this solvent. So this is the general extraction method of alkaloids. So first step, treating with the base. Why means we are converting all the alkaloidal salt into free alkaloid. Second step, we are extracting with the organic solvent like chloroform, which contains only the free alkaloid. Now again, the free alkaloid is converted into alkaloidal salt by treating with acid, aqueous acid. Then the fourth step, finally, we are again extracting with the organic solvent. So this I have shown as a schematic diagram here. So sometimes they may ask what is the solvent for extracting free alkaloid, and they would have given some options. Or sometimes they may ask what is the solvent for extracting alkaloidal salt. So for that one, I have given this basic information. So as I said, alkaloids can be classified into true alkaloid, proto-alkaloid, and pseudo-alkaloid. So true alkaloid, as I said in the definition, which have heterocyclic ring with nitrogen will be present within the ring, but derived from amino acid. So most of the alkaloid like propane, quinoline, indole, all comes under true alkaloid. Proto-alkaloid, it is derived from amino acid, it is a basic compound which contains nitrogen, but nitrogen will be present not within the ring, it will be present in the side chain. So example is ephedrine. So we all know it is also known as amino alkaloid. Ephedrine is also known as amino alkaloid or proto-alkaloid. So this question also you may expect. Give among these which one is a proto-alkaloid or amino alkaloid. So if they have given this option ephedrine, you can correct it. Next one is pseudo-alkaloid. So it has nitrogen within the ring, heterocyclic in nature, but not derived from amino acid. So it is known as pseudo-alkaloid. Example, all the purine alkaloids like caffeine will be coming under this class. So we can classify alkaloids based on its chemical nature, based on its pharmacological action, based on its taxonomical, and also based on the amino acid from which it is derived. So based on 4 classes, we can classify the alkaloids. So here, this classification is based on this chemical nature. This you would have studied in your UG from Cockade book. So, but lot of question was on this topic only. I give one example for alkaloids belongs to quinoline class, belongs to tropane class. So these most of the questions are from this topic, this only. So example, you have to study well. Pyrrole or pyrrolidine containing drugs is comes example high green coca species. So these are the things which you already studied. But at the end of this, I will ask the questions based on this topic. And as I said, the other name for protoalkaloid is amino alkaloid or alkyl amine. So example was this ephedrine and pseudoephedrine. And pseudoalkaloid, as I said, purine alkaloids come under this class. Example for purine alkaloid is caffeine, theophylline, theobromine, and steroidal alkaloid. And one more is glycoalkaloid is also there. One question is from this topic, glycoalkaloid, which means which contains sugar. Alkaloid will be conjugated with the sugar molecule. That is glycoalkaloid. So, and this is also very important point from where a lot of questions was asked in the GPAT exam. So we can classify the alkaloids based on the amino acid from which it is derived. So example for alkaloids which is derived from anthranilic acid is quinoline alkaloids. So and from histidine is imidazole alkaloids. From lysine, 5-pyridine alkaloids. Then nicotinic acid, pyridine alkaloids. Ornithine. So many questions from this topic, that is alkaloids derived from ornithine. So under this class, tropane alkaloids and pyrrolidine alkaloids. Alkaloids derived from tyrosine, phenylethylamine alkaloids. From tryptophan, pyrrolindole alkaloids or ergot alkaloids. And one more thing, one more question will be there from this aromatic amino acid is derived from the pathway called cyclamic acid pathway. So question is also from that topic. So from cyclamic acid pathway, aromatic amino acid was biosynthesized. From this aromatic amino acids, lot of alkaloids also biosynthesized. So that also you should study. So this and all you all know, based on the pharmacological effects, we can classify the alkaloids. So example, anti-malarial alkaloid is example quinine. Narcotic analgesic example, morphine. Bronchodilator example, ephedrine. Like this. So these are the syllabus which is given in under the class of alkaloids. So here more around 10 drugs which contains alkaloids I am going to discuss. So just overall, only the botanical name. You should remember all this botanical name and its pharmacological action. So one is indole alkaloid, it's a heterocyclic ring. This is a fused having the benzene ring fused with the 5-membered heterocyclic ring. So example under this indole alkaloid example is vinca, ergot, ravalfia, naxvomica, physostigma. So you all know ravalfia. The synonym of this drug is sarpagandha. That is the shape of this drug looks like a snake root. So it is a tortuous in appearance. So it will be having a bend like a snake. And botanical name, so it is a rhizome portions. So rhizome of Ravalfia serpentina belonging to the family Apocynaceae, and this drug contains indole alkaloid as a chief active principle. And one question is there. So as it is a rhizome, how will you identify the Ravalfia rhizome and root? That is one question. So rhizome is nothing but it is an underground stem modification. And how will you differentiate whether it is a root or rhizome? That is the question. And they're given 4 options. Generally, stem will be having in the central portion, the pith regions will be present in case of stem, whereas this pith is absent in case of root portion. So that is so the right answer is based on the presence of pith region in the central region, we can identify whether it is a stem or root. So stem means here it is a rhizome. So we can identify the rhizome of Ravalfia serpentina based on the presence of pith region in the center. So this is so as I said, the rhizomes will be having a small central pith, and it is cylindrical in shape and tortuous. Tortuous is just like a bend of the snake and slightly tapering at the end. And it will be having bitter taste. And the major active principle of Wolf is indole alkaloid, that is reserpine group. You all know reserpine is a drug which is used for the treatment of hypertension. So it is an anti-hypertensive drug. And so another group class is ajmalin group is also present. So you have to remember Avolfia means indole alkaloid. The name of that indole alkaloid is reserpine, that you remember in this topic. So these are the structures. So use of this drug, it is a hypotensive and a tranquilizer. So which is having a calming activity and reduces the excitement. The next drug is Vinca. You all know it's the first alkaloid which is used for the treatment of cancer. Two major alkaloid called vincristine and vinblastine. So this plant, the whole plant is used as a drug belonging to the family Apocynaceae. The botanical name is Catharanthus roseus. Apocynaceae family. The class of alkaloid it contains is indole alkaloid. So it is a herbaceous plant with woody stem. So the flowers, you all know, it will be in pink color or white in color. Even violet color is also there. And a follicular type of fruit is present in this plant and bitter taste. And as I said, the major, so here it's a dimeric indole alkaloid, but it consists of two molecules of dimeric indole. That's why it is named as dimeric indole alkaloid. So question, sometimes it will be there. Select a drug which contains a dimeric indole nucleus. So both vincristine and vinblastine contains two indole molecules. So it is known as dimeric indole. Then uses, it is used as an anti-cancer and also as a diabetes. That is a major use of this drug. The next class of drug is propane alkaloid. So mostly the Solanaceae family drug will contain this propane alkaloid, which is one of the, so you all know about chemotaxonomy, so which will relate the taxonomical features along with this chemical constituent. So this propane alkaloid is a chemical constituent mostly which is present in the taxonomy is Solanaceae family. So under this, the drug called which is given in your syllabus is the Atropa belladonna, belonging to the family Solanaceae family. And this is the diagram. So here the fruits will be dark green or purplish black in color, and flowers will be purple in color, which arises in the axil of the leaf. And the chemical constant present here, as I said, is a propane alkaloid. So major atropine, you all know it is a racemic mixture. Only during extraction process it will be converted. So hyoscyamine is the main alkaloid present in the plant, which is a levorotatory form. And if during extraction process it will be changed to a racemic mixture called atropine. And it also contains scopolamine as a major. So even though it is a propane alkaloid, in belladonna it contains hyoscyamine as a major alkaloid. So the pharmacological action, it is an anticholinergic, the antagonist of cholinergic neurons. So because of its anticholinergic activity, it is used as an antispasmodic, which reduces all the secretion. So because of that, it can be used in ulcer, and also is a mydriatic and used in bronchitis, cough and bronchitis. And the confirmed test. So here also one question is there: how will you confirm the propane alkaloid? So the chemical name of the chemical test is Vitalis test. So by we are adding to the sample, we'll be adding concentrated nitric acid. Then it has to be evaporated on a water bath to dryness. To the residue, 5% potassium hydroxide solution will be added. We'll be getting purple color. So color and all, they may ask the questions. So in Vitalis state, the propane nucleus can be identified. The next drug which contains propane alkaloid is Datura. You all know this one. So it is obtained from the flowering tops of the plant Datura myrtle, belonging to the family Solanaceae family. And the name of the alkaloid is propane alkaloid, which contains hyoscine. That is a major alkaloid, propane alkaloid present in Datura. And it also contains less quantity of atropine and hyoscyamine. So sometimes they may ask what is the chemically what is the difference between atropine and hyoscine. Only one epoxy group will be present in hyoscine. So as this also act as an anticholinergic action. The next drug is Hyoscyamus. Hyoscyamus. So the whole flowering tops of the plant is used. Hyoscyamus niger, belonging to the family Solanaceae. So here the specific character is the flowers will be funnel shaped flower. Is yellow, yellow in color with purplish vein. So that will be easily distinguished. And the active principle present is tropin alkaloid, mainly hyoscyamic. Even in Datura, it is hyoscine, whereas in Belladonna and this plant, it is hyoscyamin is a major active principle, and atropine hyoscine is present in less amount. So as I said, for identifying the tropin nucleus, the identification test is Vitalis Morin test. So here it is also an anticholinergic drug. The next one is a drug which contains quinoline alkaloid. This example, Cinchona, you all know it is the anti-malaria, first anti-malaria drug which is discovered from the plant sources. So many species is there. So more we will be studying about 4 important species. One is Cinchona calicea, Cinchona officinalis, Cinchona succiruba, Cinchona ledgeriana, belonging to the family Rubiaceae. So we'll be using the bark portion of the plant as for the treatment of malaria. So this bark will be existing as a quills or the channeled pieces. So sometimes because cinnamon bark is also another drug which contains volatile oil as the chief constituent, but it will be existing in the compound quill. Well, questions will be there. Which one is existing as a in that they would have given the option Cinchona also, but it won't exist as a compound quill. And the chemical constituent present is quinoline alkaloid, quinine. So you all know about the idea about the stereoisomers. So quinine and quinine is a isomer. And another one is quinidine and cinchonine and cinchonidine is the other active principle. And it also contains a bitter glycoside known as quinovin. One question is there about this quinovin, presence of quinovin in cinchona bark. And the identification test for the cinchona quinine alkaloid is Taliquin test. So here we'll be treating the sample with the bromine water, then strong ammonia solution will be added, which gives a emerald green, which is a peculiar color, emerald green, in case of Taliquin test. So under UV light, it shows blue colored fluorescence. And uses, it is used as an anti-malarial and also anti-pyretic. And it contains other active principle called quinidine, which is used in the treatment of atrial fibrillation. The next drug is ipecacuanha. So it is a drug which is obtained from the root and rhizome of Syphilis ipecacuanha, belonging to the family Rubiaceae family. So here it is having a specific character, that is annulated rings will be present. So questions will be there to mention the drug which contains this annulation in its structure. You can specify ipeca. So it consists of isoquinoline alkaloid. The name of that one is emitin, and these are the major alkaloid, emitin, cephalin. Then the identification test for this presence of emitin is when you're treating with HCl, heated and filtered. To the filtrate, crystals of potassium chlorate is added, where we can able to see the yellow color, yellow-orange color, which is due to the presence of emitin. And uses emitin, it is used for the treatment of amoebic dysentery and as an expectorant. The next drug, that is protoalkaloid ephedrine. The name of this is also known as a Chinese drug. The synonym of this drug is Ma Huang. So question is there. The synonym of the drug Ma Huang. So they would have given different options. So the correct answer is about ephedra. So it's obtained from the dried stem of Ephedra gerardiana, belonging to the family Ephedraceae family. So the stem portion is used. So far you would have studied in your practicals and all, you'll be doing different plant parts. So the drug, mostly the stem portion, the drug which is used is Ephedra. So here it will be having a reduced, so leaves will not be flattened, say green color, not like that. Here it will be reduced, scaly leaves to be present. That's true in the node portions. Node is the place where the leaf will be attached to the stem. So in this node portions, the leaf will be present. So here in the figure I have shown that it's a scaly leaves. So it contains an amino alkaloid ephedrine, and it is used as a bronchodilator and used in treatment of asthma and hay fever, bronchitis, and also in whooping cough. And it is pharmacology, it is a sympathomimetic drug. And in the syllabus, they also given about biosynthesis of some of the alkaloid. I will show the end of this class. The next one is isoquinoline alkaloid. The one is ipecac, another one is opium alkaloid. You all know about this. It is a narcotic analgesic drug. So opium, it's an unorganized drug, so which is obtained from the capsules of Papaver somniferum belonging to the family Papaveraceae. So you all know about the collection just by making an incision with a sharp knife. That white latex will get exudate out. When it is exposed to the air, it will get coagulated and changes color to brown to blackish color. Then by using a iron scoop, we can scrap off the latex. So here, lot of method, there is extraction method is there as it contains many alkaloids. And one point is there, this opium alkaloid is present as a salt of meconic acid. So as you all know, alkaloidal salt, which will form a salt by combining with the plant acid. So in this plant, the acid is meconic acid. So one question is from this one, the salt of meconic acid. So all the mostly opium alkaloid is present as a salt of meconic acid. So many alkaloid is there, more than 30 opium alkaloid is present in this latex. So major one is morphine, then codeine, papaverine, thebaine, noscapine, etc. So chemically, one question is that how this morphine, codeine are different. So this is a structure of meconic acid, and morphine, it will be having a phenolic OH group and one epoxy group will be there. And only difference, codeine, it will be having a 2 OH group in case of morphine. In codeine, one hydroxyl group will be substituted with the methoxy group. Whereas in thebaine, both the hydroxy group will be substituted with the methoxy group. So that is the difference. So one question is there, one methoxy group will be present in codeine. That's the difference between morphine and codeine structurally. So morphine, that is morphine is used as a narcotic analgesic. So it is an analgesic habit which induces sleep. So it is sedative in action. So it's also having a habit from habitual drug. So it will be restricted. It will be cultivated only by the government licensed person. It has been taken control by the government. So this is the extraction method. The next one is ergot. So ergot is it's not a plant. It is a sclerotium of the fungus Claviceps purpurea, which grows over the ovary of the plant Caecale cereal belonging to the family Gramineae. So it is a fungus, ergot. And lot of stories is there about this. So when you would have studied, you would have studied in detail about this one. So it causes contraction of the uterine muscles. Because of that, it has abortifacient activity, but that can be used for controlling hemorrhage. So this was a life cycle and all, you know, that is, it has 3 stages. One is specivia stage, then sclerotium stage, and ascopo stage. Nothing that a rye plant will be infected with this fungus, and this fungus will enter the ovary of that plant, and it will develop into the sclerotium. That sclerotium has to be collected. If not, it will fall on the ground, and that will again give rise to the plant. So this is all you would have studied already. You just remember the stages. And the major alkaloid here it is lysergic acid derivatives and clavin type of alkaloid. So in lysergic acid derivatives, 2 types of alkaloid. One is water soluble one, another one is water insoluble one. Example for water soluble comes under ergometrin group, and water insoluble is ergotamine and ergotoxin. So question is also from this topic, water soluble ergometrin. And a chemical test for ergot, it shows a red colored fluorescence under UV light. And as I said, it is having oxytocic effect. And another one major use, it is used for treating migraine, and it reduces postpartum hemorrhage, and also as a abortifacient. So because of that activity, it is used in child labor. The next drug is Nux vomica. It is obtained from the dried seeds of Strychnos naxformica belonging to the family, Loganaceae family. So here the seed will be disc shaped and it will be having two surfaces. One is a flat surfaces, another one is a curved one. And it has pressed silky hairs throughout the seed. And these are the identification characters. And hilum is present in the center of the flat surfaces. So this is the diagram. So when you're making a long fill section of the seed, we can able to see inside, we can able to see these radicals and cotyledons. And it is bitter in taste, and it contains the indole type of alkaloid, that is strychnine and bromine. And as it is a seed portion, it also contains fixed oil. So identification, when in the section transfer section of the drug, treating with ammonium vanadate and sulfuric acid, it produces a purple colored stain. Another one with the same section, if you are adding a constant nitric acid, it shows the yellow to orange color in the endosperm portion. So this is due to the presence of bromine. And with ammonium vanadate and sulfuric acid, it produces purple stain. That is due to the presence of strychnine. And activity, pharmacological action is a CNS stimulant and beta stomachic. And this is also given in your syllabus. Biosynthesis of three alkaloid. One is propane alkaloid, then quinoline alkaloid, and opium alkaloid. So the amino acid which is serving as a precursor for the biosynthesis of propane is ornithine. And this is a biosynthesis pathways. So through ornithine, we get tropine, and we need tropic acid. Through phenylalanine, tropic acid will be obtained. So two amino acids will serve as a precursor for the biosynthesis of propane alkaloid. One is ornithine, another one is phenylalanine. Sometimes they may give the name of the amino acid, and both options they would have given one ornithine, another one is phenylalanine. Both were correct. So for propane alkaloid, two amino acids will be serving as a precursor, ornithine and phenylalanine. And next one is opium alkaloid, that is morphine. So the amino acid, that is aromatic amino acid, is serve as a precursor. The name of that is tyrosine. So these are the pathways. And another one is quinoline alkaloid. Here the aromatic amino acids as a precursor is tryptophan. So just I have given an overview about the alkaloids and what the drugs which contains alkaloids. Now I will share some of the questions. Just go through the questions. I have given answer in the same questions. Just it is a practice for you. Okay. So just student just follow these questions. Just check whether you are able to answer the questions. So what is an alkaloid? So alkaloid, as I said in the definition, it is a basic organic compound which should contain at least one nitrogen atom. That is the concept. So they are given four options: acidic compound, then acidic compound from animal fat, then basic compound containing only carbon and hydrogen. So the option one is correct. That is a natural basic compound with at least one nitrogen atom. And as I said, the questions will be based on the alkaloidal reagents which is used for the identification. So saturated solution of picric acid, the name of the reagent is Hager's reagent. Shall you answer in the chat box so that I can't see the Okay. And another one, see, whenever in the GPAT question, some questions they were given, you must go through the questions properly. Sometimes they will give select the true or false, which is not, likewise you would have given, remove the odd out. So you have to read the questions properly, then you go for this selection of the options. Okay. Third question, select the true statement about this caffeine. So as I said, caffeine is a pseudo alkaloid, which is not derived from amino acid. So it will not answer the normal alkaloid test like Mayer's test, Dragon-Drops test and all, as it is a pseudo alkaloid. So in the option they have given, you all know caffeine is insoluble in water, only it is soluble in hot water. So they have given the option, caffeine is a pseudo alkaloid. In all the 4 options, they have given pseudo alkaloid. And sorry, in 2 options, it is given as pseudo alkaloid, but in 1 option, they have given as water soluble. So it is not correct. So you can select first option, caffeine is a pseudo alkaloid, which is insoluble in water. Then second one, what is the right skeleton of cinchona alkaloid? So they have given propane, isoquinoline, robanol, and damarine. So it comes under isoquinoline structure. And so they have given 4 options. Choose which of the alkyl except alkyl. As I said, the question you have to read it properly. Following are the alkyl reagents, and we have given one word except. So they have given the option Mayer's, Dragon-Drops, Wagner, and Felling's solution. So in the option Felling's solution is a reagent for carbohydrate. So we can easily identify the answer. And chemically, what's Mayer's reagent? So as I said during this class, so reagents chemical name you should study well. So the option is potassium mercuric iodide. So, but I have added 3 more questions. The question they have asked in the GPAT question exam is Mayer's reagent only, but I have included 3 more questions. What is meant by Wagner's reagent? Wagner's reagent is nothing but iodine in potassium iodide. Hager's is the saturated solution of picric acid. So which of the following is an example of propane alkaloid? So option is quinine is isoquinoline, then atropine is the right answer, atropine. Okay. Select an narcotic alkaloid which is used as a narcotic analgesic. You all know it is morphine. Following are the indole alkaloids except, so reserpine, vinca alkaloid, ergot all comes under indole alkaloid, and the odd out is cocaine. Next one is which is alkaloid used as a bronchodilator. So ephedrine is the right answer, bronchodilator. And next one, which of the following is an example of quinoline? Sorry, here an option is wrong. I will at the quinoline alkaloid example is quinine. In previous, I think they have given one wrong question, isoquinoline likewise, isn't it? Okay, so isoquinoline example will be the opium alkaloids. Which of the following is not an opium alkaloid? They are given morphine, codeine, thebaine, none of the above. So all the 3 were opium alkaloid. And next question, the phytoconstituent present in belladonna is a propane alkaloid, but here they have given hyoscyamine, reserpine, thebaine, and papaverine. Reserpine, which is present in Rauwolfia, thebaine, papaverine is an opium alkaloid. So right answer is hyoscyamine. Then belladonna belongs to dash family. So you have to study this family name also. The question may be like this. So belladonna belongs to Solanaceae. As I said, it contains a propane alkaloid. So family is Solanaceae family. And the pharmacology action of belladonna, it is anticholinergic. And use of Rauwolfia, you all know, in the treatment of hypertension. Then again, the morphine is repeated. Morphine is an example of narcotic analgesic, but they have given 3 options like antitussive. But correct answer is, so this morphine is not used as an antitussive. Only codeine is used as an antitussive. So right answer is narcotic analgesic. Slide is not moving. Okay. Then as I said, the amino acid from where this alkaloid is biosynthesis. So many questions was from that. So here, these are all GPAT questions. These questions all I have collected from various GPAT questions of various year wise. So here morphine is synthesized from, they have given 4 options. So it is synthesized from tyrosine, aromatic amino acid. And the type of alkaloid present in vinca is indole alkaloid. Sometimes they may give you the option as dimeric indole. That is also correct only for vinca. And the ring structure present in strychnine, it comes under indole type of alkaloid. So the right answer is indole. Here some questions will be as a match of following. So you all know that quinine, there is a chemical test for identification of this alkaloid. That's why I have touched this topic also, some of the chemical tests. So you all know quinine identified by means of Taliquin test. Then digitoxin, even though it is a cardiac glycoside, it's identified by means of Keller-Killiani. Atropine by means of Vitalis-Morin test. Stenocyte is a glycoside, which is identified by means of Bontrager's test. So they would have given 4 options. So option A, as I said, the answer, this is the correct. The next one is the same question. Which of the one of the alkaloid is derived from lysine? So here the correct answer is lobeline. And what are the chemical tests used for detection of purine alkaloid? So purine, that is caffeine. So Muroxide test is the right answer. And as I said, for biosynthesis of propene alkaloid, it involves a pair of precursor. 2 amino acids will be used for the biosynthesis of propane alkaloid. One is ornithine, another one is phenylalanine. So this is a question. This is from 2014 questions. So here option A, ornithine and phenylalanine is the right answer. And a glycoalkaloid, it is also one type of alkaloid. Glyco represents this glycosidic linkage. So they have given 4 options. Contains sulfur in nitrogen. It is not right. Then glycosidic in nature. It can be hydrolyzed to an alkaloid. Always contains endocyclic nitrogen. So option P and S is not correct for a sorry. So sorry, here the contains, which contains it is glycosidic in nature and contains nitrogen. So these 2 is correct. And here again another question. Which of the alkaloid derived from this tyrosine amino acid is? Right answer is morphine. And quinoline alkaloids is biosynthesized, as I said, it is biosynthesized from amino acid, and the aromatic amino acid is biosynthesized from cyclamic acid pathway. So here they have given 4 options, that is cyclamic acid, but what is the name of the amino acid here? Cyclamic acid with tryptophan is the right answer. So here I also in ergot alkaloid, I told 2 types of ergot alkaloid, that is water soluble and water insoluble. Water soluble is ergometrin class. So here they have given water soluble alkaloid which shows blue fluorescence. So among these 4 options, the water soluble alkaloid is ergometrin. So that is the right answer. Then this is another drug which I have not discussed about this colchicine, but it just phenyl ethyl isoquinoline is a precursor for the alkaloid colchicine. And here they are given right combination of alkaloids. Quinine is a anti-malarial drug, but not an isoquinoline alkaloid. It is a quinoline alkaloid. And the second option, reserpine, is an anti-hypertensive drug, but it is an indole alkaloid. That is correct only. And quantitative microscopy, they are given a stomatal number, but they are given the unorganized drug called MIR. That is not correct. So MIR is an unorganized drug. This stomatal number will be present in the leaf portion. So the next one is, so here the right answer is reserpine antihypertensive, which contains indole alkaloid. And another question is, alkaloids are not precipitated by. So as I told all the four reagents, alcohol reagent, which produces a precipitation reaction. So Mayer's, Dragon Rocks, picric acid, nothing but the Hager's reagent. The last one, Milans, is a reagent used for identifying the proteins. So D is the right answer. It is not an alkaloidal reagent. And tropane alkaloids are not present in. So it is present in Datura, coca leaf, and Duboisier leaf, but not in lobelia. So lobelia in that is the right answer. Which contains terpenoids. Lobelia contains terpenoids. And true alkaloids are always present in salt of organic acid, that is plant acid. So I told in the definition itself, it is a salt of organic acid. And here the next question, the example of pseudo alkaloid. Caffeine is an example of pseudo alkaloid. So here, which drug is not under the chemical class of indole? So here, but the question is, option is not right, because quinine, quinidine, the quinoline alkaloid. So we ignore that question. Okay. And ring structure present in strychnine, it is a indole. So in Naxwamica, it comes under indole alkaloid containing drug. So option A is correct. Example of amino alkaloid, that is proto alkaloid example is ephedrine. And deadly nightshade is a synonym of the drug. Belladonna is also known as deadly nightshade. And vinca plant belong to the family Apocynaceae family, and which is not the use of ergot. So you all know ergot is having oxytocin effect, which prevents postpartum hemorrhage and used in the treatment of migraine. Option D is the right answer. So here the question is not the use of ergot. Next one, Naxwamica is not used as. So the use of Naxwamica is seen as stimulant, bitter stomachic and tonic, but not expectorant. So option D is the right. Naxwamica is not used as expectorant. And Ipecac belong to the family Rubiaceae family. Then Datura stramonium, which contains tropane alkaloid, which is an anticholinergic activity. So the use is anticholinergic is right, mydriatic is right, motion sickness is also right, but not anti-adrenergic. Answer C is correct. Next one, which is not the chemical constituent obtained from opium. So opium alkaloid, you all know morphine, codeine, narcotin, but heroin is a semi-synthetic derivative, so it is not an alkaloid obtained from opium. It's a synthetic product. Next one is which is the active chemical constants obtained from. I'm not able to see the question. Okay. Thorn apple is a synonym for the drug. So thorn apple, Datura stramonium is also the other name for Datura stramonium is thorn apple. Sometimes the slide is not moving.
விஜயலட்சுமி
மேம்
ஸ்லைடு மூவ் ஆகலையா?
ஆமா, அதான் ஒவ்வொரு தடவை வெளியில வந்துட்டு போறேன் மேம்.
ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. இன்னும் எவ்வளவு இருக்கு விஜி?
முடிய போகுது.
ஓகே 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 விஜி.
Okay, next one, which drug is not belonging to the family Apocynaceae? So under this Vinca, Rauwolfia, Cucci, all the three drugs comes under this family Apocynaceae. The odd out is Gloriosa. And not the biological source of Cinchona. So I told 4 species of important species of Cinchona: Calycia, officinalis, Saxiruba. Indica is not, so that is the correct answer. Cinchona indica is the right answer. And ergot alkaloid also, I told 2 types of ergot alkaloid. One is water soluble, another one is water insoluble. So the question is here, which ergot alkaloid is water soluble? So here ergometrin is the right answer. Then ergometrin alkaloid chemically, so it is a levorotatory form, and the ergot alkaloids, the acid is the lysergic acid derivative. So option A is right. And a lot of questions from ergot. Then ergot powder will give a blue color when you're treating with dimethyl amino benzaldehyde. Then some crow fig is a synonym of the plant Nux vomica, Strychnos nux vomica, and which belongs to the Loganaceae family. And important microscopic characters not associated with Nux vomica is, you all know, it contains lignified trichomes, and collapsible cells will be there next to the trichome layer, and it shows presence of plasmodesmata in the endosperm region. But calcium oxide crystals and starch grains are present. Likewise, they are given in the option, but it is not present. So option D is right. And lignified trichomes is the main characteristic features of Nux vomica. C option, Strychnos nux vomica. So here the question is only about Nux vomica. Then botanical name of Nux vomica is Strychnos nux vomica, option A. And with I told the section of the Nux vomica seed when treated with nitric acid gives yellow color, which is due to the presence of brucin. So two tests we have discussed. One with due to the presence of strychnine, another one with brucin. So here option B, brucin is right. With the ammonium vanadate, we can identify the presence of strychnine, which produces purple color. So all the 3 questions is about Nux vomica. Then the active principle present in Rauwolfia is reserpine. And as I told one answer, that is acid of opium alkaloid is meconic acid. So this is also another one. Then analgesic property of this opium alkaloid is, see here they are given 4 options. Most potent analgesic properties from the synthetic derivative heroin when compared with morphine. So if heroin is not given, morphine is right. As they have given along with morphine, they have given heroin, so that one is correct. The time is there.
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead, ma'am.
No, okay. So in Nux vomica, the glycoside which is present in Nux vomica along with the alkaloid is loganin. That is the right answer. And the pharmacological action of ephedrine, that is protoalkaloid, is bronchial asthma. That is the right answer. And the parent nucleus present in the structure of morphine is phenanthrene nucleus. And the next question, the characteristics not associated with the alkaloid. So you all know alkaloid contains nitrogen, and they are physiologically active, and most of them are solid in nature. But they have given alkaloid contains sulfur. So sulfur heteroatom is not present, only the heteroatom nitrogen is present. So option C, all the alkaloid contains sulfur is right. And Taliquin test is used for the identification of quinine alkaloid. So the reagent is bromine, water, and ammonia. That is the right answer. So the same question, Taliquin test is used for the identification of quinine, cinchona alkaloid. And the compound which is derived from the amino acid tryptophan is ephedrine. And the aliphatic, the alkaloid which is derived from aliphatic amino acid is anabasine. So all the other reserpine, nicotinic acid was obtained from aromatic amino acid. And in codeine, as I said, this question, how it differs from morphine, how the structure of codeine is different from morphine. As I said, it consists of one methoxy group. That is the right answer. How to detect the rhizome from the root of Rauwolfia. This also I have discussed while discussing about Rauwolfia. By the presence of small central pith, we can identify the root of Rauwolfia. So I think only these questions I am able to share with you now, as because of the limited time. So why I have discussed here is the type of questions may be like this. When you are studying the syllabus and materials, you have to study in such a way. So already in previous session, Geeta ma'am told how to study, how to prepare, everything she told in detail. So the same thing you just follow. So here the question is just a pattern. No need to study only this question alone. It is not sufficient. So finally I thank our alumni association members for giving me this opportunity. And special thanks to Dr. S. Jaikumar ma'am, because she only suggested me to take this GPAT class. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Vijayalakshmi. Very good presentation. Excellent view about alkaloid. Yes, over to Sini Pandian sir. Who is there? Manivannan sir.
It's Malarkannan, ma'am.
Malarkannan sir, sorry.
Yeah, no
Thank you,
problem.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, before that I will explain on to students. Some students asking one question, G.
Yes, ma'am.
Given morphine is a narcotic analgesic, but some students given in the chat box, it is also used as antitussive. But students, from my point of view, I will explain. After that, Vijayalakshmi also explain. Actually, morphine is a sedative. It is used as antitussive, but the option is given narcotic analgesic, morphine. So when compared to antitussive, narcotic analgesic is a more activity towards morphine. Suppose the word narcotic analgesic given only antitussive is given, you can take the antitussive. I think so. Is it correct, Vijayalakshmi?
Yes, ma'am. But as it is having the antitussive, mostly codeine will be preferred as a drug in most of the cough syrups. That the effect will be which produces more sleep, narcosis, because of this analgesic narcosis activity. Most of the time, morphine will not be used in the formulations. Only this codeine will be having this antitussive property.
Okay. But the students, when they will refer the Google and other things, morphine is also given. That's why they ask the question.
No,
Because the
just
same
refer
question I discussed my students also 2-3 years back also. No problem that we can.
As it induces sleep, ma'am, we can't take that as an antitussive drug. So codeine will have a moderate effect. That's why it is given that antitussive property. And also in chemistry and all, we can explain technically, as pharmacology is considered very easiest subject, easy to understand. Only thing you have to remember all the names and the botanical name. So that's why I have just given as an overview.
Yes, students, we will post on assignment also. We both discussed and post on assignment also. Madam discussed nearly 50 questions, but still some questions we have to collect from previous year question paper. We'll post on assignment within a week. So we will answer for that one. On behalf of IPGA, I thank both Geeta Saravanan Madam for excellent presentation in stereochemistry, and also Vijayalakshmi Madam for a valuable output in the alkaloid. Whatever the alkaloids are available, everything she covered. And the moreover 50 questions she explained. So that's enough, I think so, for students. Yes, now over to Malarkannan sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, on behalf of Pharmacy Alumni Association, I'd like to thank Dr. Geeta Saravanan ma'am as well as Dr. Vijayalakshmi for their contribution. I'd also like to thank all the students and IPGA for their support towards this initiative. So I'd like to end this session by saying thank you to everyone, and we'll see you again next week on the next session. Thank you.
Very much, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Some of the students have posted in the chat, but now only I view that they want not to view the answer. They want me to ask the questions. But how come I can hear their answers? Just now I've seen in the chat box. Please ask questions likewise they have given in the chat box.
Yeah, that's true, ma'am. Maybe you can just give the question and the answer separately, ma'am. That's it. They can just type the answers on the chat box.
But that suggestion is right only. I used to do in my students that we will ask the question so that they may give the correct answer. But here, as it's not possible, I have given the answer itself.
Okay,
Next time,
we'll try to enable the chat box for you, ma'am. Then it will be easier for you.
but in the slideshow now, we can't able to see the chat box, sir. After,
Oh, okay,
That's
so you
why
have to
I
do it
don't-
alternately. Okay, or we can just read the questions for you, any of us. Then you can just the students can just write the answers. We can just
that we can do,
Uh,
sir, by posting
yeah.
the questions, quiz come like we can conduct.
yeah, we can do that, ma'am. We'll do it next time.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Anyways,
sir. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Anyway, students, we will post one more assignment without answer. In the all the 3 groups of your students group, you have to answer. So that is good. Only the chapter is alkalides.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
All
ma'am.
right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Stay
Thank you,
safe.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, Meenakshi madam. Thank you, Malarkanan sir and Sarvan and Geeta madam. Thanks to all.
Uma madam, thank you, Uma. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Yes, Uma madam, thanks to lot.
Thank you, everyone. I'll continue my questions in the next session if possible. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.